Welcome to the Heartlifter Way. I'm Janell Reardon, and this is a gentle space for emotionally weary women to breathe, heal, and carry life differently. Here on the Heartlifter Way, we walk the gentle path, grounded in what is real, expressing emotions with self-compassion, nourishing our nervous systems, trusting in God's daily presence and care, listening to our body's quiet wisdom, and embracing micro movements forward in hope. Today's conversation, Moving Without an Address, is going to be an exceptional one. Grandbird 1 and 3 have just flown back to Belgium. We had a 16-day staycation with their mama and daddy, and although it was supposed to be a vacation, and it was of sorts, our oldest daughter had a closet filled with almost a decade of memorabilia and notebooks and collections and things from 10 years of travel. So she worked really hard because we are moving. Her visit was far more emotional than I anticipated, as she brought to mind that this has always been her home base, and born and raised here in Virginia on the East Coast. And so we had friends visit and saying goodbye to them and wondering, wow, will I ever see them again? Will they make a trip to Kansas? So a lot was talked about, a lot was shared, and it was a bit of grief in some ways, because we are moving from a place that we have called home for a very long time. So today is day 79 of our 90 days of discernment, and these 90 days, as I have said over and over again, have been pivotal in my life, and I am hoping that you have gleaned something that has also been pivotal in your life. I always love to hear from you, and now more than ever. So be sure to either email me, Janell at janellreardon.com, direct message me at Janell Reardon on Instagram, or meet me on Substack at The Heartlifter Way. I need to tell you something that feels vulnerable to say out loud. I thought we would have a house in Kansas by now. I really did. Somewhere in my imagination, this whole season unfolded much more neatly, as most situations do. We would discern that it was time to go. We would find the house. We would know where we were going to land, and then we would put our current house on the market. One thing would lead logically and safely to the next. Except that's not what's happening. We don't yet have a home base in Kansas, and we're putting our house on the market anyway. We're feverishly working, boxing, cleaning, doing all the things necessary to sell our home. I've done this twice before, but to make a lateral move within our community, this time we're taking a big leap of faith and moving to the Midwest, or as they call it, the Great Plains. We're preparing to sell the house we live in without knowing the address of the house we'll live in next. We've had 5 or 6 possibilities come across our radar, but they just haven't felt right. And friends, boy, does that really scare me. Yeah, it does. I thought discernment, or the discerning process, would give me an answer. When I began these 90 days of discernment, I think I imagined that discernment would eventually produce certainty. That if I prayed enough, if I paid attention enough, if I walked and prayer walked enough, I would know. If I stayed quiet enough, then eventually all the pieces would click into place and I would know. I would know in my knower, as I like to say. Not just the next step, but the whole plan. It would all be tied up with a neat and tidy bow. Now we're only on day 79. We have a few days left. Maybe you understand this oh too well. You have created plans and thought they would go one way, and they didn't. We say we're seeking discernment, but somewhere underneath that desire is a deeper desire. Please make me absolutely certain, God. I need certainty. Please show me enough of the future that I won't have to be afraid of it. Please give me the address before I leave the one I know. And for 79 days, I have been keenly and aptly listening, ear to the ground, eyes on Zillow, and Trulia, our realtor in Kansas, has her ear to the ground, and I've been paying close attention, really for the first time in a very, very long time, to what is stirring inside of me and in my spirit. Observing what is changing, what keeps returning, what feels alive, what feels finished, what I feel I am being invited toward, Rob and I, and what I might finally be ready to release. And I am releasing a lot. Rob and I together are learning new things in our 43rd year of marriage. So here I am on day 79. Where are you on day 79? Here I am with clarity, but not certainty. And I'm beginning to understand those are not the same thing. Clarity says, so lean in here, it's a lean in moment. Clarity says, I can't see the landing yet, but I know I can't stay where I am simply because I'm afraid. Whew. I would really prefer certainty. I really would. I would prefer a Zillow listing with our name spiritually written all over it. I would prefer an address, a closing date, a kitchen I can already imagine myself standing in, a room I can picture waking up in. I would like to know where the furniture is going. I would like to know where I'm going. Instead, I have this next step. I'm following what I called years ago the flashlight principle. When you hold a flashlight near the ground, you can see one small little circle of light. And I remember on a senior girls' retreat in the Outer Banks that we went down to the ocean at midnight, and I took a small flashlight and we all gathered around in it, and I put it down to the sand, and you could only see a very small circle. But as I held it up higher and higher and higher, and I stood on my tippy toes, the light encompassed all of it. It was such a visual of how we have to trust God one little flashlight circle at a time. So I have my next step, which is put the house on the market, get it ready. We're boxing things up. We are cleaning. I've said that. You know, if you've ever moved, what that process involves. And what I know that I must have now is trust. But trust doesn't mean I'm not scared. Trust doesn't mean that doubts aren't flooding in. Uncertainty is not shaking me to my core. I think sometimes we tell stories about discernment after the fact, and we make them much tidier than they actually were. We say, I just knew in my gut. Or, I had peace. I just had peace. Or, everything just fell into place. And maybe sometimes that's exactly how it happens. I've heard those stories. I have heard so many women over the last few months when I've told them my desire to move, our feeling and sense that we are to move. And they're like, oh, when we put our house on the market, it sold in a day. This fell into place, this fell into place, this fell into place. Okay, I love that. I want that to be my story. But that's not where I am today, right here on day 79. Today, I can tell you I'm scared. I am moving. I don't know. I'm listening. I have questions. I have clarity. And I have a lot of uncertainty. All of those things can coexist inside of my body. So maybe courage isn't the absence of fear. In fact, I know it's not. Maybe trust is what we practice while we're afraid. I have heard so many strong teachings to that fact. Those are all very true, and they're very different at the same time. Trust isn't the absence of fear. It's a practice we do while we're afraid. We take the next step, the next clear step, and maybe we take it afraid. I don't want this season of discernment to turn into a story where being faithful means pretending I'm not frightened. I am frightened. There is something profoundly unsettling about loosening your grip on something tangible before the next tangible thing appears. A house is not theoretical. It is shelter. It is home. It is where you wake up in the morning. It's where your things are. It's where your people gather. And we are saying in a very real way, Rob and I, are willing to release this home before we know exactly where the next one will be. And you can add, wherever you are finding yourself, I am willing to release what? Before I know exactly where what will be. This is not easy. I am not promising easy. I keep wanting a tangible house to be the proof. I've noticed something else in myself. I keep wanting the Kansas house to appear so I can use it as evidence. See, we were right. This is what all that discernment was leading us toward. I want the perfect house to be confirmation that Rob and I heard correctly, that we made the right decision, that we didn't misunderstand this invitation. And I've been wondering underneath all of these questions, when I'm really still and really quiet, what if the house isn't the confirmation? What if the confirmation isn't an address at all? Oh, I have been avoiding this. What if part of the confirmation is who I am becoming in the space between addresses? Oh, that's so much harder. I really just think I might have to title this the sacred space between addresses. It's harder because I can't put that into a moving box. That sacred space is in liminal space, isn't it? It's intangible. I can't sign paperwork for that. I can't post a picture and go, here it is. It's even really hard to explain. But maybe something is happening in me that matters even more. Maybe I'm learning that I don't need the entire path in order to take the next step. I know that in my head. I've taught it at so many conferences, workshops, retreats. So I know that in my head, but it's making its way into my heart and then embodying it in my entire being. That is hard. Maybe I'm learning that discernment isn't a transaction where I listen carefully and in return life gives me guarantees. Maybe discernment is relationship. It is staying connected to myself, to God, to the people I dearly, dearly love, to what I know matters, even when I cannot see how everything will resolve. When I started writing a book project and a book proposal called Moving Day, leaving the land of overwhelm and heading straight to the land of ease and peace, that was a few years ago. I really had no idea what was coming. And so I'm living into this book. I'm living into this writing that I had done and these sample chapters. I'm really living them right now. And I was not ready for that book to come out. So all of this has me thinking very differently about what it means to be rooted within. One of the pillars of my new platform, the Heartlifter Way, early on was about being rooted within, because I love roots. I love roots. I love plants. I love looking at roots. I love watching plants symbolically create roots. I love the image of being grounded and steady and deeply connected. But I've realized that somewhere along this journey, I may have confused being rooted with being stationary. They aren't the same. A rooted person can move. Here's where it's getting deeper and deeper, my understanding, and the development of this beautiful, the Heartlifter Way that we've been developing over these past months. A rooted person can change her mind. A rooted person can leave. A rooted person can enter a season where she doesn't know her next address, because the root isn't the house. The root isn't the plan. The root isn't even the outcome. The root, and really lean in here, is the aha. The root is the relationship I have cultivated with what is deepest and truest within me. Wow. Is that what Paul means by I am rooted and grounded in the love of God? That has been my desire for the last 3 to 4 years, when I began on my floor in the breathing room crying out to God and reading 1 John 4, God, help me understand and know the love that you have for me. 1 John 4:16. This is what he's been really teaching me, that the root is the deep, deep, loving, intimate relationship I have cultivated with what is deepest and truest within me, which is deepest and truest in my relationship with God. It's knowing how to come home to myself, my rooted self, when the external coordinates change. And maybe that is why this matters way beyond Kansas. Because eventually every one of us finds ourselves between addresses, right? Of one kind or another. Between who we were and who we are becoming. Between the job we left and the work we haven't found yet. Between the church we've left and the church we've yet found. Between the relationship that ended and the life we haven't imagined yet. Between the children needing us in one way or needing us in another. Right now, so many of you are between your children leaving and going to college, or maybe kindergarten, and leaving the home in a way that you hadn't imagined yet. Between a version of faith that no longer fits or suits you, and a deeper understanding that hasn't yet fully formed. Between what was and between what will be. Oh, and those in-between places can feel terrifying, because there is no address to type into the GPS. There's just the next flashlight circle of light, the next step. Maybe this is actually the Heartlifter Way. I've been thinking throughout these 79 days about what it actually means. We've been developing this Heartlifter Way together. We began by becoming rooted within. We learn to hear ourselves. We learn to notice. We learn to discern. We stop abandoning ourselves in order to maintain some sense of comfort or certainty, approval, belonging, control. But being rooted within was never supposed to become another way of protecting ourselves from uncertainty, from discomfort. We become rooted, right? This is where we started this journey. Those 3 pillars, which have been evolving, by the way. We become rooted so we can live relationally, so we can enter our relationships without demanding that other people remove all our uncertainty for us. So we can love without controlling, listen without fixing, stay present without needing to know the ending. And eventually, our 3rd pillar was so that we can lift others. We root deeply so that we can live relationally, so that we can lift others. Not because we have life all figured out, that's not our end-all goal, but because we have learned how to accompany another person through the places where life cannot be figured out. Maybe the person who can sit beside you and say, I don't know what's going to happen either, but you don't have to be alone while you figure it out. I'm just here. Maybe that's really who a Heartlifter is. Maybe that's who we're all becoming. So here I am, here we are, day 79. 11 days left. Oh my gosh, I really don't want this to end. Oh. So we're holding clarity and uncertainty in our hands. They're not opposites. We can be very clear about our next step while remaining genuinely uncertain about where that step will lead. My takeaway, something that I work a lot with my clients, is that desire, right? Our desires are good. They're usually given to us by God. And we can have these desires, these hopes, without being attached to the outcome. So that's how I have been trying to navigate these 90 days and this big move across the country. And I've put it into this little 4-part framework. First, we have desire. God puts these desires deep in our hearts as we walk with Him and align ourselves with Him, so we can know what we hope for. Clarity. We can know the next step. If we're aligned with God and we're praying and we're seeking and we're knocking, we can trust He's given us the desire. We can trust He's given us the next right step. But then there can be uncertainty because we don't know the outcome. He knows the outcome. We don't. And then we have surrender, where we don't require the outcome to look the way we've imagined it or tried to control it even to be in order to trust God. So, in full vulnerability. The other day, I got flat on my face before God in my breathing room, on the floor, laying down, and I just said, God, I surrender all of this. I'm scared. I'm anxious. I am packing and getting ready to move without an address. I don't want to rent a place. I want to move and be settled, but I'm giving all, look at me. I'm nervous even talking about it. I'm just surrendering it to you because I trust you. You've never failed me. You've never forsaken me. Ever. Ever in my life. So I trust you. I know that I'm clear enough to move, even though I'm uncertain about where we're going to land. And I've thought, maybe I've been asking God for certainty about the future when what He's really doing inside of my life and in my marriage and in my family is He's offering us certainty about Himself. I don't know the future, but I do know who holds it. And in Hebrews 11:8, I'm going to close reading this beautiful scripture. This is what we know as verse 8 says, by faith, Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to a place that he was to receive as an inheritance. And he went out, not knowing where he was going. Wow. He went out, not knowing where he was going. By faith, he went to live in the land of promise, as in a foreign land, living in tents with Isaac and Jacob, heirs with him of the same promise. For he was looking forward to the city that has foundations, whose designer and builder is God. By faith, he went out, not knowing where he was going. That just might be the greatest lesson in these 90 days of discernment. Getting to know the God who knows. Being able to hold our desires, our God-given desires that we feel He's given us, with open hands, and leaving the outcome to Him. How is this speaking to your heart today? Boy, it's really tenderizing my heart. And it's really drawing me so close to my Father's heart, because I know how much He loves me and I know how much He loves you. He has it. He has your future. He has your destiny. He has your happiness, your meaningful life in His hands. Thanks be to God. Thanks be to God. Thank you for listening today, Heartlifter. I am so thankful to have had this time and space with you. I know how many places and spaces compete for your attention, and for you to be here means the world to me. Please share it with family and friends, coworkers, and anyone you meet along your gentle path, your Heartlifter way. And be sure to meet me over on Substack at Heartlift Wellness or Instagram at Janell Reardon. May we pray our discernment prayer together. God, help me listen for what keeps returning. Give me eyes to see what is taking shape, ears to hear your gentle invitations, and courage to trust the unfolding process. May I follow peace rather than pressure, wisdom rather than urgency, and your presence rather than perfection. Teach me to honor the quiet language of my body, the wisdom of my soul, and the light you have placed before me. One luminous, gentle, faithful step at a time.